30-minute session, Eliminate Cash Flow Challenges in MSME Businesses with TReDS, Bill Discounting, powered by M1xchange and RBI regulated TReDS platform. This session will be led by Mr. Maulinath Ganguly, Director Sales M1xchange and his team, Naimish Shah, Partner Jayashree Industrial Accessories, and Mr. Keshav TReDS, Deputy Vice President Business Development M1xchange. There will be a question and answer session towards the end. Let me now invite Mr. Maulinath Ganguly, Mr. Naimish Shah, and Mr. Keshav TReDS onto the stage to take over the session.
Good evening, and thank you for your time. It's a privilege to present M1xchange. This is a TReDS platform in this event, which is organized by CI, MSME, and GCPIT for the Brand10000 MSMEs. First of all, congratulations to all the winners, and a big round of applause for those who are living their dreams in the MSME, as an MSME industry. Let me take a minute to introduce what M1xchange is and why MSMEs benefit from M1xchange. And we have one of our clients here who will share his experience using MSMEs or using M1xchange, so that you can also understand how it benefits micro, small, and medium enterprises. So one of the main problems that all MSMEs have is the delay in receipt of payments for the goods or services they have provided. In fact, if you look at it, there is at least a 6 lakh crore to 7 lakh crore of funds which are stuck because payments have not been released to MSMEs from their corporates, their buyers or their clients to whom they have provided goods and services. Now, if you look at it, MSMEs therefore need to depend on bank funds or need to raise funds on their own or need to bring in equity, and all these are pretty expensive. So therefore, in 2017, the Reserve Bank of India came out with licenses, which are called the TReDS license. And this enables MSMEs receive funds from their corporates at a very, very competitive rate of interest, at a much faster rate than what they would have if they were to rely on funds from their buyers. So the way it works is, on our platform, we have buyers. Buyers would be anyone who is a PSU or a large corporate. Amongst PSUs, we have IOC, HPCL, BPCL, BHEL, BEML, BEL, etc. as buyers on our platform. We have MSMEs on our platform who have provided goods or services to these buyers. And we have, more importantly, we have banks who participate on our platform. Now, there are about 47 banks who are participating on our platform, and each of these banks actually can go and bid for each of these invoices on the platform. The result is, if you have a bilateral working capital limit from any of your banks, you would probably be able to get it at maybe 10% per annum, 11% per annum rate of interest. Most of you would have to give security or collateral. On our platform, the way RBI has envisaged it and the way RBI has made it available for MSMEs, there is no requirement for any collateral. The rate of interest that MSMEs get is also about, it depends on the credit rating of the buyer, but it can go as low, in today's environment, it goes as low as 5.5%. In fact, even lower in some cases. 5.44 is the rate we are seeing, and this per annum. So if you are borrowing from your bank at 10%, and you get, let's say, 6% per annum from M1xchange, straight away you are saving 4% financing cost without having to provide any collateral, without having to provide any extra documentation, and best of all, this is all online. You can use even your mobile to upload the invoice and get your transaction done. So let me just give you an example about how it works. So for example, let's say Jayashree Industrial has, they are a supplier for BHEL. So whenever they provide any goods to BHEL, they can upload a copy of the invoice on our platform. There is and there's an integration between our platform and BHEL. I won't go into the details. So BHEL can authorize their invoice on their ERP, which directly comes to us. In the sense on our platform. And when it comes to us on our platform, there are at least 15 banks, and by banks I mean SBI, PNB, Bank of India, etc. amongst the public sector banks. Amongst the private sector banks, we have Kotak, we have HDFC. Amongst MNC banks, we have Shinhan Bank, we have Sumitomo. So totally there are about 47 such banks, and one of them or many of them can go and bid for each of these invoices. It's like when you buy a equity in a stock exchange, so you're basically bidding for each share you're buying. Similarly, the bank is bidding for your invoice on the platform. And so, banks can bid and counter bid, and therefore the lowest rate that you are comfortable with, that the MSME is comfortable with, they can select. And they get the funds the next working day. So today, if you have selected the lowest bid at 8 p.m., by tomorrow evening, the funds will be in your account. And the bank will collect the funds directly from the buyer. So once you have got the funds, you don't have to follow up with the buyer. The bank will not come after you, because the RBI TReDS guidelines clearly say that once the transaction has been consummated, the MSME is out of the picture. Anything is between the buyer and the bank. So therefore, you are directly saving 4% without any collateral. Next day you get the funds in your account. The benefit for you is, number one, you get to save on your interest cost. Number two, you can churn your funds. So for example, one of the biggest problems that MSMEs have to grow their business is the availability of funds. You want to invest in a new line of business, but you can't do that because you don't have funds enough to, there's a delay in receipt of the funds from your buyer. So with this, you can get the funds again at your discretion the next working days, and therefore you can churn your funds much faster, and therefore the growth of your business can be much faster. We'll take questions after this, but I wanted to just leave this thought with you about how M1xchange works. And just for your information, totally, since we have started M1xchange in 2017, we have transacted about 30,000 crore worth of invoices on our platform between 2007 and till date. It's actually more than 30,000 now. Every month, we transact about 2,000 crores worth of invoices on our platform. We have about 200 to 300 buyers who transact regularly on our platform. We have about 12,000 micro, small, and medium enterprises who use our platform on a regular basis. And like I said, there are about 47 banks which participate on our platform. We are, of course, licensed and regulated by the Reserve Bank of India. So every aspect of compliance that RBI wants banks to have, we also have to adhere to that same level of compliance to address RBI's compliance needs. So therefore, it's not like any transaction which can happen or may not happen, because since we are audited and regulated by the Reserve Bank of India, we have to ensure that every transaction is consummated within the stipulated timeline and under the guidelines of the Reserve Bank of India. So with that, I would like to introduce Mr. Naimish Shah. Like I mentioned, his firm is one of the suppliers for BHEL Electronics Division, which is based out of Bangalore. We have requested him, and he has kindly consented to come and share his experience using M1xchange and how it has benefited. So I'd like to start by asking him in terms of how he came to know of M1xchange that he started with us. So is there a mic?
Hello. Okay. Firstly, thank you for having me, Mr. Ganguly, and to all the revered guests here, to all who are present. So basically, we are Jayashree Industrial Accessories. We deal in industrial fasteners. We are basically a brick and mortar type of company, but our items are used everywhere with all these wonderful technocrats that we have in the room. Be it our young gentleman who's got 35 patents, or to our respected people who are manufacturing these X-ray tubes and things like that. Everybody uses our items. Our fastener line is a line which is a growing line, and we are basically in touch with our companies like BHEL, BML. They've been telling us to go on the next level. the way for us to do that, to go forward, is through companies like M1xchange, which help us in getting capital. Now, we have been in touch with M1xchange through BHEL. BHEL is one of our primary customers, and they had in fact told us, we were on a rival platform, and they told us, you should try M1xchange because they have a more robust infrastructure. Their, basically the processes are much better, the processes are much stronger, and we shifted the platform. We shifted from one platform to the other, and we are very happy to say that how we're dealing with M1xchange is far better than what we were doing earlier.
So, sir, how was your experience in getting registered on M1xchange platform?
It was very, very easy actually. In fact, we had some paperwork issues, which M1xchange very kindly obliged by allowing us to do it later and allowed us to transact. The set of papers, the set of guidelines, whatever is required, is very simple. It took us all of maybe 2 days, and that too the second day because the notary was required and we couldn't find one. But everything else was done online, and there was nothing else.
Thank you, sir. Sir, can you elaborate how M1xchange has helped your cash flow position, sir?
Oh, basically, see, when we deal with companies like BHEL, BEML, basically PSUs, it's a process of this, wherein, there are so many different departments where your bills go through, your material goes through, there's so many different inspections and things like that. And during the process flow, at times, many a times, your bills get misplaced, or that time, it takes time. When we do bill discounting through M1xchange, for example, what happens is, the pressure is on them as an organization. When we submit the bill, we mention to be discounted through M1xchange. So then the pressure goes on them to ensure that all the bills are passed correctly and within a time frame. There is also a time frame involved, 2 days, 3 days, 5 days, and things like that. Now, with having extra liquidity today, I am able to source my products at a far more reasonable price, and in turn give a far better price to my customers. So M1xchange has been a blessing in disguise for so many small MSME traders like us, who don't have access to capital from structured loans, structured banks. So we are fully dependent on these type of loans, and M1xchange at the rate of which we're getting money. Sir, you're saying 6% per annum. No, it's 6% for the interest period for which you have your payment terms with BHEL. Thereafter, the interest is paid by BHEL and not by us. So that is significant in terms of the savings that we make on interest, and hence what we can pass on to our customer.
Thank you for your kind words, sir. So, how has your user experience, sir? How easy is it to use the platform?
Oh, platform is extremely easy. I would like to commend your backend team, who've been Mr. Bhagware specifically, because he's been talking to me all the time in helping us to learn the process first time around and second time around whenever the glitches. It's a very easy, very fast process. To upload a bill doesn't take more than 15 to 20 minutes, that's all. Thereafter, your responsibility ends and it goes on to your customer.
Thank you, sir. So finally, will you recommend M1xchange to your fellow MSMEs, sir?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. It's a boon, it's a blessing in disguise for small businesses like us, where we don't have access to funds. And today, a platform like M1xchange, being so robust, being so open, being accessible, you can contact their support team at any time of the day. And we have done that at night 10 o'clock. There is somebody who will answer the call. So today, when you have access to funds, and today when we are talking about making India great, Atmanirbhar, things like that. Today, if I as a small business have access to funds at a cheaper rate than maybe an organized business type of setup, I can offer my products at a cheaper price to BHEL, for example, which we have been doing. Today, fasteners, what they were buying 5 years back versus what they're buying today, the prices have come down by about 20%, even though commodity prices have gone up by 100%. So yes, we are grateful for having these type of platforms. We're grateful to the government to create something like this, and we look forward to it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you for your feedback, sir. Just for your information, any organization which has a turnover up to 250 crores, and that excludes the export turnover, just the domestic turnover up to 250 crores qualifies to be a micro, small, or medium enterprises as per the circular that came out from the government, I think, in 2021. So if you have a turnover of up to 250 crores and a gross investment up to 50 crores, you qualify to be an MSME and you can avail the benefit of a TReDS platform like M1xchange. Also, you don't need to have your customer or your client in Bangalore. We have our presence across the country, sorry. So therefore, wherever in the country your client is, you can avail of the platform benefits just by uploading a copy of the invoice. There is no physical flow of documents. You don't need to visit anyone. And for your the realization of your payments, you don't therefore need to depend on your clients only. There is an M1xchange who can help you realize your funds faster. So when I was saying that we had about 10,000 to 12,000 MSMEs who use our platform, they are spread across 1,200, more than 1,200 cities in the country. And interestingly, about 70% of them are from tier 2 and tier 3 cities. So you can understand how easy it is for MSMEs to transact on our platform, because 70% of them are from tier 2 and tier 3, and in fact, even towns and villages, because we also work with a lot of condiment vendors, with a lot of coffee vendors who are based out of, let's say, in Chikmagalur or Kurnool or any other such places where the data connectivity is not as robust as you would find in Bangalore. Also, they use our mobile application, so it makes life even simpler. So they don't need to be in front of a laptop. They don't need to be in front of their offices or in their offices in front of a desktop. They can do the transactions, select the bids on their mobile phone, get the funds the next day. We'll be happy to take any questions if you have. Sure. Can I have a mic?
Hello. Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Suresh Sagar from Karnataka State Small Scale Industry Association, panel chairman for banking. So regarding these trades, I just have a few questions. One is that, overall, I'm talking of this trade platform. How many of the large scale industries have registered? Above 500 crore as per your limit. Above 500 crore companies. I'm talking of private, I'm not talking of a public sector. And apart from that, we feel that even the state sector, public sector industries, like maybe our BESCOM, or maybe any other organization from the state level, also should be included in the trade platform.
Very good point, sir.
And second thing, as I told you, that's a one. And these large companies, normally this normal factor, you have a two, one is the reverse and normal factor. This normal factor is more ideal for MSME compared to your reverse factor. What is happening in the reverse factor? After 45th day, they action our bill, on our behalf, and whatever the charges are there, that will be deducted from our account. So this is not an ideal situation for the MSME, because we cannot dictate the large companies. In case we do something, I may lose my order. I may be out of their suppliers list. So how do we manage this? I'm just talking about the platform, what platform says, okay, you are, I know that your situation is different.
Okay,
but I'm happy that NAC has also come into this. I'm extremely happy about it. Thank you very much. Wish you all the best.
Thank you. I'll take your questions one by one. So the first question was the companies which are there on the platform. So like I said, we have about 1,000 who are registered, and about 300 of them are transacting regularly on the platform as on date. Out of these 300, I would say more than 90%, or at least about 90% of them are non-PSUs, which is private corporates. To mention a few in Karnataka and thereabouts, we have, let's say, Ashok Leyland, TVS, Tata Power Solar, Shankara, amongst Tata Hitachi. These are amongst the corporates, the non-PSUs. Amongst PSUs, we have BHEL, BEML, KIOCL, amongst the corporates, amongst the PSUs which are currently transacting on our platform. And it's not that this is a comprehensive list that I'm telling you. Every month we are getting at least 10 to 15 new corporates who start transacting on our platform. So therefore, if you are doing business with a corporate who is not there on the platform today, chances are they'll be on the platform sooner than later. So that's, I hope, answers your question one. The second one was about whether we do business with state PSUs. The answer is yes, we do business with state PSUs. So for example, just last month, we signed a memorandum of understanding with the government of Tamil Nadu. We also, for example, in Orissa, we do business with TP Western Orissa Distribution Limited, which is a JV between Tata Power and the government of Orissa, where the government of Orissa has about a 50% stake. So we are perfectly aligned with doing business with PSUs, both central as well as state PSUs. It's just that the adoption of TReDS has been faster for central PSUs because there has been a push from the Ministry of MSMEs at the central government level. This is now percolating down to the state PSUs also, and they are seeing the benefits of enabling TReDS for their suppliers. We'd be more than happy to actually work with any PSU at the state level to enable this for their suppliers. To answer the third question, now, there are multiple models in which TReDS is used. Some companies use this for enabling the payments earlier to the vendors. In that case, to answer your question, today, for example, if you are getting funds from your bank at 10% per annum, let's say with collateral, typically with collateral, the average rate in the market is about 10% per annum. Here, if you get it at 6% per annum, so straight away for the 15 days, for 30 days or 45 days for which you are getting early payment, you are saving 4%. So therefore, though you may be bearing the finance cost, that is the MSME may be bearing the finance cost, it works out much cheaper than not using TReDS. So therefore, we have many companies in our platform, for example, whose vendors assume a financing rate using TReDS, and that is how they can quote more competitively to their customers. So for example, when Mr. Shah said that he is quoting very competitively to BHEL because he thinks that he can get it at his financing at a much cheaper rate than if he had to go to the market. So therefore, he has already factored in the financing available on TReDS. And this is something which is now getting more and more common, especially amongst large corporates. Their vendors are assuming that the TReDS financing will be available, and it is becoming a key ingredient of the quotes that MSME vendors are providing to large corporates. Also, let me add, it is not mandatory that a company needs to have a turnover of 500 crores to be a buyer on the TReDS platform. Even if a company has a turnover of 200 crores, 300 crores, they can be on the platform. It's just that they need to have a credit rating by one of the credit rating agencies, which means CRISIL, ICRA, Equity, Infomerics, Brickworks, any of these credit rating agencies need to give a credit rating.
But can they play dual role?
Yes, they can. They can play a dual role as both buyer and seller. For a seller, they need to have a maximum turnover of 250 crores. So if a company has a turnover, let's say 225 crores, he can be both a buyer and a seller on the platform. In fact, we have cases where a company was a seller on the platform, then as their business grew, they became a buyer and a seller on the platform, and once they crossed the 250 crore threshold, then they became only a buyer on the platform, and they moved out of being getting the benefits of a seller.
I basically feel that these bankers should push. Especially large companies, the bankers should push them or advise them to get themselves registered on a TReDS platform.
Bankers do push, in all fairness to them. There's a push from the government also. In fact, in many cases, vendors or MSME suppliers also push their corporates. So we've recently come across some buyers who are registering and going to start transactions on a platform because the suppliers requested them to register on the platform so that they could start the benefits. So it's become an ecosystem where everyone is seeing the benefits, everyone is coming onto the ecosystem to get the benefits, and therefore it's only a matter of time before everyone will start hearing about it. Today maybe 200 or 300 buyers and maybe 15,000 suppliers are aware of this, but if you see the growth at which we are growing, the rate at which we are growing, so every year we are growing at about 2.5 times. So for example, if we do 10,000 crores of worth of invoices last year, this year we are expecting to do between 25 to 30,000 crore worth of invoices.
Sure. MSME there is a guidelines like any limited company or private limited company should be there in this TReDS platform, or it is to their liberty, they can join, they cannot join?
There is a circular of 2019 or 18 which says that all companies with a turnover of 500 crores and above need to register on the TReDS platform. However, it does not specifically state that the company has to transact on the platform and provide support to the MSME vendors. However, we have also seen that once a company registers on the platform, most cases, 90% of the cases, eventually they start transacting and the vendors start getting the benefits. So while the circular does not categorically state that after registration transactions have to be supported by the buyer, we've seen in most cases it takes a matter of time, maybe sometimes 3 months, sometimes it takes 1 year, sometimes even more, but buyers do start supporting the vendors on the platform. Any other questions? Okay, thank you so much for your time. It was a pleasure interacting with you, and please feel free to contact us or let us know if you have any further clarification or if you would like to use our platform for your benefit. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Maulinath Ganguly, Mr. Naimish Shah, and Mr. Keshav. I request you to stay back. We have a token of appreciation to hand over. May I invite Mr. Santosh Ganesh to please join us on stage. As a token of our love and appreciation, we would like to hand over a memento to all 3 of them. Support you have given to Brand10000 SMEs event. Next, we are handing over a memento to Mr. Naimish Shah. And next to Mr. Keshav Tejas. Thank you so much for that enriching session. Thank you, Santosh sir. Now let's move on to the section MSME Insights. Let me invite Mr. Gopinath Rao, Deputy Director, MSME DFO, Bangalore. Welcome, sir. Mr. Satyagi Rastogi, Regional Head of Small Industries Development Bank of India, Bangalore. Mr. Himanshu Srivastava, Senior Manager, Southern Region at National Stock Exchange of India Limited, Bangalore. Mr. Neeraj Tyagi, Co-founder and CEO, V Founder Circle, who is an angel investor as well, to come on to the stage.
Thank you.